In the upper left, folks, in the red, he is of Onside Gaming, the Zerg player. It's Solar. And his opponent in the bottom right, for Dragon Kitesa Gaming, not arguably, he is the best Protoss player in the world. It's herO. Although I guess some people would argue that actually it's not herO, it's MaxPax that is the best Protoss player in the world. Of course, he recently won, what was it, Pigsty 3? Whatever, Pig's most recent $10,000 tournament, which, by the way, shout out to the community for running those $10,000 tournaments. Wardy's got one, Pig's got one, he's got another one funded, Wardy's got another one funded. Well, it doesn't make up for the funding being cut from the GSL. It is something. You know, it does in some way, shape, or form. I can say it makes up for it, but at least it is an attempt to shore up the levies as we wait for Stormgate. But I saw someone on Reddit the other day, and they were asking at what point, and I think maybe it was in the live thread for the Pigsty, and they were asking at what point can we start to call MaxPax the B word, and of course they're referring to the word bourgeois, which is not really something used anymore. But you know, bourgeois is, for those of you that are not aware, the term bourgeois is it's like a Starcraft Brood War term for these players that dominate the era that they're in, that are by far just obviously the best player. We're talking Flash, we're talking Jaedong, we're talking like Bizu, Stork maybe. I don't even know whether Stork was. Well, anyway, players like that, players that have like 70-odd% win rates across every matchup for literal years, and are just odds-on the best players in the world. The only one in StarCraft that I think I can realistically say, maybe we have two. In Maru and herO might be able to say that, because also mark of being a bourgeois was a mark of consistency. I would not put Rogue in that category because, well, he would win a tournament, then he would bomb out in the round of 32. Like, he was very sinusoidal when he was playing actively. So, but the fact was, someone was trying to argue that MaxPax, by winning one tournament and by being, I think, top 3 in a League-Lac, was somehow a qualifier for bourgeois, which is actually it's kind of dumb. I respect people's opinions, but there is no world where MaxPax should be in the discussion for bourgeois at this point. Not without a single offline win, not when he has not hit his form until like right now. It's not it. Like, MaxPax is a great player. He is one of the 2 Protoss players that actively drives the meta. The other one is herO. I would argue actually herO drives the meta more, but regardless, well, these adepts are going to get found out. So nice little catch there from Solar. Regardless of what it is, yeah, sure, MaxPax is good. Does he have above a 70% win rate for multiple years and just dominating the scene? Absolutely not. Is he a favorite against literally anyone he goes into? No. But okay, now we're gonna see Oracle dive in. Gets one worker here, so this has actually been a pretty shaky early game coming out of here, and actually he's gonna take a lot of damage on this Nexus. Oracle's going to arrive. Lings are gonna stick on it. There's not enough damage. Not quite enough Lings. This is an uncharacteristically sloppy opening from herO. He's lost a couple of depths. He's gotten one worker for half damage on his Oracle. He actually takes significant damage on that Nexus, and the Lings are going to arrive once again now that another Oracle's out. That again, this is not the level of crispness we're used to seeing from herO in this matchup in particular. But just because he's a little off in the early game does not mean he's not going to look good overall. He's going to die to try to dive on top of the Queen, and there is not enough energy. This is the high energy one, so this is a valid assassination. Even if you take some damage on the Oracles, not going to Queen down this early on. Well, now there are 5. Okay, well, still, even knocking it down from 6 to 5 means that there is either less injects or less creep spread, less defense against the oracles. Whatever it is, it's expensive, it's valuable, it is absolutely worth killing, even if you get down into the red on the hull, because eventually these oracles are going to be useful for shield stasis trapping, defensively, for revelations, for things that are not killing workers. And you can just cycle them in. But this is also fun because there's a 4th oracle on the way, charges the upgrade getting started here. And this is a very different way that herO is choosing to approach this. We're on 4 gas. I'm kind of half expecting to see a Templar Archive go down, but it seems like herO is instead opting to spend his gas on more and more oracles. And this is taking a page out of really SOS's book from back in like 2015, where he went mass oracle charge lot, and it was an all-in. It was super cool. He won a game with it. And considering the fact that Solar does not have his Roach Warren done yet, this could be fun. Overnilings are going to try to find their way into the natural, but oracles are there, and the big deal is that the extra oracles have not been revealed. Solar is not aware that there's anything more than just the single defensive oracle sitting at home. As a stasis trap now is going to try to go off, and Solar's just not paying attention. So that's a third of a mineral line. No longer mining, just delaying the Zerg economy a little bit. And as equally as importantly as the mineral line is the fact that, well, gas is only 1 out of 3. So the gas economy gets shut down a little bit. And the reason this is important, of course, is the fact that Solar is going for Aspire. And he's going to go probably for Mutaplay, but I'm not sure that he has time for that because Zealots Oracle's there on the map, and Solar, what does he have? 2 Roaches, 6 Queens, 38 Lings. That is really not all that much. And there we go. Now there's the Templar Archive. Now there's the Robo, but the Oracles, they're going to dive on top of the Queens. How good is the Transfuse? Well, 1 Queen's going to go down. Oracle falls, but the Queens are starting to die in earnest. Zealot's getting on top of them as well. The Roaches are continuing to fall here. And actually, it does seem like Solar's going to be able to hold on to this. The Queens, they will all go down. There is just not enough to save them, but Lings find their way into the natural, into the main. That is 5 probes falling, and herO is transitioning out of this already. This was not what it could have been. Not the immediate all-in, rally across, rally across, rally across, but it was good pressure. Now these High Templar. Storm is not on the way. They have not been turned into Archons just yet. They will be scary if they are allowed to get Storm, because this is 5 High Templar. That's a lot of Storms. Now the mutas are popping out, and this is going to force herO back home. I liked the idea. If he was able to, actually, I think if he'd rallied, he might have been able to maybe punch through because the injects would eventually time out. But as it stands, he was trying to hit before the mutas were out. He was trying to hit this timing when the Zerg was still banking money and droning. But now he doesn't have Blink. He's very little anti-air. He does not have a Warp Prism to ferry Archons around. And that means these mutas are kind of unchecked. 5 probes are going to go down to start. Maybe a muta's going to fall. Ooh, oh man, Solar should have killed the Phoenix there. But regardless, more mutas are on the way. +1 air attack is on the way. Lings now filtering on in. By the way, these are +1 Lings. So the question now that we're looking at here is, how does Solar want to play this? Because playing Mutaling, +1 mutas, +1 Lings, is asking to base trade. Oh, he's going to catch the Oracles. That's really nice. But you're asking for a base trade. Dark played a game last week in EPT Korea where he went very quick Spire. He went like a 4-minute lair into a 5-minute Spire or something like that. Built 55 mutas and just waited for his opponent to move out of the map and just base traded him. It was... he did it to Creator, by the way, which was just even worse than mental damage. But it was kind of an abusive way to play. Point being, when you commit to mutas that heavily, Mutaling that heavily, you will never be able to... Oh, +1 attack going to be denied. But again, when you commit to mutas and Lings that heavily, you are likely never going to be able to fight your opponent straight up. You're really trying to, well, excise little parts of it here or there and eventually get into a base trade. So it seems more and more that is kind of what Solar's going for, where he's going to start to pick away at things. Now there is the Warp Prism, so Archons can go on that one and cause some problems. But by the way, it's only single Stargate. Getting these Phoenix is just... it's not doing all that much as the mutas continue to dance around. Now, they're not going to be able to double back on the Warp Prism because there's a shield battery here But 23 probes have gone down, and it seems like Solar has he survived the attack. The oracles did not kill enough, even if we do have 7 dead queens. The charge loss did not do enough on the ground, and it seems like we're very quickly getting to this position where herO, even if he does have a second Stargate now, and he will have Annealing Pulse Crystals eventually because that fleet beacon is done, it feels like we're starting to get to the point where he gets the Warp Prism, 1 Archon goes down, 2nd Archon falls here as well, and now the meters are just going to get right on top of the Stalkers. The Shield Battery Overcharge is nice, but they can only be in one place at any given time. The Phoenix, they continue to fall, and Solar is just camping this army now. There's the Stasis Trap is nice, but Solar, he survives to the point that he needs to be in, and that's going to do it. Solar takes game 1 in the series. In the bottom left, in the red, up 1 game because his mutas, they came out at just the right time, and they did enough damage. It's Solar. And in the upper right, in the blue, he had an Oracle charge lot timing that just did not do enough, but it was cool. It's herO. For game 1, herO we were talking about it in game, but herO looked kind of shaky. He took far more damage on his oracles than we expected for the damage he got. He lost 2 adepts early, and it's just like, that's not the herO we're used to seeing. He's not perfect, absolutely not, but I'm used to seeing like his first 5 minutes being almost impeccable. So overcommitting, not getting any damage, overcommitting, not getting any damage multiple times in a game is just, again, not quite what we expect out of the Smiling Assassin, out of the best Protoss player in the world. But it's another, I'm not going to say it's another day. Although depending on when this played, technically that could have been true if someone was casting in maybe Mountain Time. But regardless, it's another game. It's a bigger map. And I'm excited to see what herO has in store for us. I don't think he's going to do that charge lot idea again. It was cool. It was very interesting. But that strikes me as a once every couple series type of build. And I guess continuing on that conversation about Bonjour or not. Again, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it again. The it's certainly not Max Packs, but the only one that I think there are only 2 players that can be considered Bonjours in StarCraft 2's history. One of them is herO. You know, he's won BlizzCon. He's won a World Championship. He won every single foreign circuit tournament for what was it, like a year, 18 months. Did not lose a single PvZ series for like 77 in a row. And he's consistent. You know, unlike Rogue, who has more world championships than he does, or I guess one of Rogue's Katowice's was before it was technically the world championship, but anyways, there's more Katowice, BlizzCon type tournaments under his belt, but he was so inconsistent that I would not grant him that title. So Cyril's won, and the only other one that possibly could be considered is Maru. Everyone else is just not there. But herO, he's going for something very different in this game number 2 compared to game number 1. He's got a Twilight Council down. 1 gateway for the moment. We're going to have to keep an eye on how many he gets as to whether this is going to be... Actually, the Robo would normally be done by now, so this is looking like it's going to be 3 gate glaives. Which is a very... It's something I've been seeing a little bit about, and it makes me very excited. In that... You actually don't get 4 gates, right? So first of all, it's 3 gate glaives, duh. But you also don't get a Robo. And you take a pretty quick third behind it. And it's one of those things, and just like how it used to be, it was either 2 gate blink expand or 4 gate blink all in. And then players started to realize that, you know what, 3 gate's pretty good. 3 gate gives us some pressure, but not a ton, but not as much as a 4 gate. But on the flip side, it's far more pressure than a 2 gate, and we can still expand behind it. So, well, as I say that, Robo's going down. Never mind. I got excited. This build that hero's been playing around with, Jam's been playing around with, that I desperately want to enter the meta because it's just so interesting, but no. 4 gate glaives is on the way. But Solar for now getting ready to try. Well, actually, it seems like he's got an understanding about what exactly his opponent is doing. What is he scouting? He sees double gas in the natural and Overlord of the main. So he's got a perfect understanding of what happens. Of course, double gas means that the Protoss will eventually expand. But seeing the gateways, seeing the Twilight, seeing that it's researching, seeing the Robo, he knows exactly what type of build this is. He doesn't quite know what the follow-up is, but he's got a damn good idea because he saw the double gas in the natural. So the Adepts are going to run down on the map. Behind that, Disruptors are going to be the thing. They're going to be the follow-up, and that does complicate matters just a little bit. You want roaches to defend against this glaive idea. They do not die nearly as quickly as lings do. They're not as maneuverable, sure, but you know they do a pretty good job. What you don't want roaches against is Disruptors. They are slow. they clump up pretty nicely. Disruptors kill them very easily. So for now, the Adepts are going to start to move in. 3 Adepts warping in. I guess maybe 1 gateway is on cooldown, but regardless, the Adepts, they're not going to move forward just yet, though. I mean, they're going to shade forward, and that's going to force the army back because, well, that was a high ground that Solar held. Now he doesn't. As he rotates on over to the third base, Ling counterattack from Solar is what I assume is a Ling counterattack. Yeah, not a ton of them. And it really does not get that much done. But herO also has not found the value he's looking for. Not just yet. But because this is a Disruptor follow-up, herO is trying to, as much as anything else, force roaches out. He's trying to force an army out of Solar, prevent him from droning, and relying on the idea that eventually he will get value. Eventually, an Adept will find a mineral, or a couple of Adepts will find a mineral line. A big Disruptor shot's going to go off, something like that, and, well, there we go. It's absolutely worthwhile. So anyway, Glaives, or excuse me, Warp Prism speed, Gravitic Drive is just about done. That's going to be herO's true timing because what he's gotten out of this, he forced Solar to not drone for a while. He forced 10 roaches on the map, 35 lings, forced queens off the line to try to go and defend, which also meant that there was a little bit less production. So if he can go and start to find tremendous value with this Warp Prism, well, that's going to be pretty nice. So here we go. Adepts shade forward, looking for their shot. And are they going to complete that shade? No. There's still a ton of Adepts on the map. Warp Prism on the right side. Those are 3 queens that he could kill, but he's not going to. Into the main base he's going to go as Warp Prism continues to take damage. I would love to see sports on the edges of bases. Yeah, they won't stop the Warp Prism from diving in, but what they do is as the Warp Prism continues to take damage, it minimizes the time that a Warp Prism has to exist. As now, well, shots are going to go off. That's going to be pretty juicy. Actually, only 1 queen will go down. And now, while the Adepts have to run away, Warp Prism is getting... Oh, it's going to go down. And that's the 2 Disruptors inside. So now it's Adepts left all on their lonesome. Can they win the fight here? I do not think so. They got to run away. And Solar, well, he holds on pretty nicely. But again, herO... just a little sloppy. He should not have lost that Warp Prism. He should not have lost those Disruptors. And now he is indubitably pretty far behind in this game. He's got Adepts and a couple Disruptors, but no Warp Prism. Now herO tries to shove his way forward, and yeah, he lost the Disruptors, lost the Warp Prism, but he's got a couple more, and if the shots are good, it doesn't really matter. They'd lost thing otherwise, as now he finds his way on the high ground. Shots are going to go off. That's a pretty decent Disruptor shot, but it's not enough to allow herO onto the high ground, at least not enough to allow him to stay there, so he continues to rally across. More and more Stalkers. By the way, he hasn't probed up the third base. He's only on 50 probes. This has been all in for quite a while now. If you're a herO fan, you really want this to happen pretty soon because eventually he will start to time out, but that is a juicy Disruptor shot. And a second one, well, that's not going to find the value he wants as he rotates over. Lings find the third base of herO, but again, it's not really mining, and a shield battery overcharge keeps it alive anyways. Another Disruptor will fall, but the shot's even better. And now herO blinks onto the left side. He's got a fantastic concave. All of a sudden, herO is starting to push through onto Solar, but on the flip side, significant Ling run by into the main base of herO. Stalkers are going to have to warp in to defend, but if we're being real here, Stalkers to defend against a Ling run by are not what you want. You want to warp in Zealots. Feels like herO, he's warping in units that he wants to find value with later on as another Disruptor shot finds something. But I cannot help but worry that he has... Oh, man, these shots are so big. But I cannot help but worry that by warping in the stalkers in the main, he's actually made his what really should be a winning position in this game, has made it much more tenuous, because that's just a bunch of stalkers. The Lings found far more value than they should have. But now there's the rally. Now there's the scant few stalkers that remain from that warp in, because again, a lot of them went down. They're going to start to run across onto the other side of the map, but no warp prism means that this front disruptor should go down here. Ling's looking for this round, but eventually, of course, stalkers will be able to blink backwards. One disruptor remains on the game, and the disruptor has been the one thing that has really been keeping herO happy. But this is a nice concave. The roaches feels like they have overextended, and herO recognizes it. He moves forward, blinks onto the reinforcements here, keeps his pylon alive, and these roaches, they're not going to be able to get much of anything done. It's a concave, a full 360 surround coming in from herO here. And the Lings, they're going to try to knock this down. The reinforcements are nice. This pylon should eventually go down, but the trades have been so damn good for herO that it feels like he's got a shot in this game all of a sudden. He's building more disruptors, building 6 stalkers at a time. He's finally probing up again, and Solar's on 50 workers. Solar's got that 3rd base, sure. He lost his 4th, though, and he's not had the time, he's not had the money to be able to rebuild. He's only on 2 queens. He can't even fully inject on every base. And herO is just an artist with blink stalkers. I know when Parting came back briefly and he was actually looking fairly decent in PvZ with his blink stalker Colossus sentry play, and he had that interview where he's talking about, well, you just got to be Picasso with your sentries. You know, no one can play like me because no one has force fields like I do. No one has blink stalkers like herO. No one is able to do what he does. He's got a terminal illness, and it's aggression, but half the time he's gonna drag you kicking and screaming down into the grave before he dies. And it only matters who dies. Who really only matters who dies first. But the game does go on. I really thought that one way or another we were going to see the game end. Either the blink stalkers would be good enough, or the run by and Solar was going to be able to hold. But at the end of the day, more than anything, it's a herO lead now. I think that much is true, but it's not game ending. Not just yet. As the stalkers, they run forward. 3 disruptors in this army. Let's see what happens here. Disruptor shot number 1 is going to go out. Cancels a Ravager. That's pretty nice. Solar's trying to look for a surround, but he hasn't deputized enough Lings really for that surround, so the stalkers, they continue to wedge their way forward, blinking back one at a time. Disruptor shot's not going to land. Lings on the right side, they're going to try to find, well, as much value as they can, but the stalkers are very okay with this. And a disruptor shot from the north side, well, it's going to get 1 stalker, but it gets all the roaches, and immediately Solar taps out. herO looks very, very good. We talked about how game 1 he was looking out of shapes. Well, out of sorts. Not this game. He ties it up 1 apiece. In the upper left, in the red. As game 1 was fantastic, but game 2 just too many balls to the face. It's Solar. Down to the bottom right, in the blue for Dragon Kites of Gaming. Give it up. It's herO. And let's be real. In that game number 2, he did in fact go from 0 to herO. That was not the best opener. He lost the War Prism with 2 disruptors, and make no mistake about it. If you lose 2 disruptors in a Warp Prism and you're going for the build that herO went for, 99 games out of 100. 99 games out of 100, you are losing that game. You were so reliant on that tech. You committed to Warp Prism speed. You've committed so much to so much, and then you lose that tech. And then that is like the one thing that can really deal with the roaches and the queens. That realistically, you should not have the time. The Zerg should start to expand massively and develop their economy in such a way that you just can never come back. But herO got enough done with his adepts and with his continued pressure, and he had a crisp enough follow-on with the blink stalkers that it kind of made it happen. even if it was a little bit interesting, even if it was a little, well, even if the early game was, again, not to that level of execution that we're used to from herO, but maybe we need to frame it differently. You know, I've been talking the last 2 games about how herO's first 5 minutes are normally impeccable, and they just have not been this series. The other way to say this is Solar has been doing an incredible job of preventing herO from being that impeccable, from being that crisp and clean. That is, oh, that's interesting. You know, because I don't think that Solar has done, again, outside of getting the Warp Prism, but like in the first 5 minutes, I don't think he's done anything particularly incredible. But if herO has to pay more respect to him, so therefore feels more pressure to get damage done or be more active, that can force unforced errors. Well, that can force what appear to be unforced errors, I guess, because the pressure of playing is the forced error here. By the way, we need to point this out. herO did not block the natural. He's trying to block the third base now, and he's being somewhat successful, but it's interesting to see him not block the natural. And by the way, behind this is going to be a Twilight opener once again. We're going to keep an eye on what timing that we get for the Robo, how much gas he gets, when he gets the 3rd and 4th gas, whatever it is to see whether this is going to be Glaives, Charge, maybe something like that. There's the Robo. So likely, this is going to be Glaives on the follow-up. We have started to see Dark DT is more of a thing. A concept of those invisible men with their invisible side, these reaping souls, and you know what? I hope we see it, because there we go. Dark Shrine on the way. I know. Clearly, this is because Diablo 4 is an open beta this weekend, and scythes are the thing, or at least one of the things that make me think of Diablo, so there we go. How many souls will herO reap before this one gets figured out? But for now, Warp Prism's on the way. Templar or Dark Shrine's about halfway done. Lings are going to try to find their way in, but that is a full wall, so that's not going to happen. And is Solar going to get the scout here? So he sees the fact. Actually, he roughly gets it. He sees that there is a 3rd gas taken before the 4th, which means that it is not going to be a disruptor play, something like that. herO is a little slower on getting that extra gas. It looks like the Overlord's going to find its way into the main base as well. So I think by process of elimination, Solar's going to have a rough idea of what's happening, but there are no spores down yet. So even as I'm saying, rough idea, he's got a solid idea now. He sees the Dark Shrine. Spores are only just now getting started. Luckily, the Dark Shrine is not yet done, so instead of saying, wow, Solar, you're so late, it's no Solar, you are right on time. Spores are all about halfway done on either position, and as long as the Lings can get a good surround or just delay just long enough, these Dark Templar, they shouldn't get a lot done. There we go, Spores done. So 3rd base is not something that can really be broken, but hey, if you find some Queens out between the bases, that's going to be a little bit better. And oh, look at our production tab. Look at it. Shadow Stride. DT blinks on the way behind this, and this is herO flexing a little bit. This is him. Well, it's the finals. He's tied up in this series, but he wants to show us something a little fun. So Shadow Stride, halfway done. As a Ling finds its way into the main, and again, good scout from Solar. He's aware that, yes, this is a Warp Prism, or this is a Twilight. Not a Twilight. And this is a Dark Shrine that is getting chronoed. Okay, well, that tells you something. And herO is just trying to take a page out of Classics book against Rogue back from that BlizzCon. What was it, 2018, 2019? Shadow Stride done in 7 seconds here. Is this going to be a dead hatch? There is enough energy for one transfuse. In fact, the DTs, they just run in. They don't even have to blink in. And that means the Spore is going to go down. They're going to blink out. Lings are going to try to chase, but the Overseer is just not fast enough. So Solar's looking for some level of a body block. He's looking for that surround. And, well, I don't think he's going to find it, actually. Well, here come the Overseers. So these DTs are dead. Even as they try to run away, it's not going to happen. herO has not found the value that he wants. I got excited. He sniped a Spore. He's going to lose 6 DTs for it. So I love that we're seeing heroes trying all of these interesting ideas. These we saw Oracle charge lot game 1. I guess game 2 was fairly standard. We have this blink DT idea in game number 3, and it's just like not working at all. Solar's kind of showing us why these are experimental ideas. Why these maybe need a little bit more time in the lab. All right, so it seems like when this game is played for real, there was a little bit of lag, but for now, Blink is just about done. Disruptors coming out of their way 2x2. Balls of, not blue, but orbs of blue. 2x2 balls of red, yellow, sun, balls of sun. There we go. As I love how active hero's being with these Blink DTs. He's just, normally at this point in that game, this would be an Archon drop or something, if that, but because he has Shadow Stride, he's able to just be annoying and kill things here or there. And now the Stalkers are moving out forward. Disruptors are going to join them. And does Solar have enough to defend? He's going to warp in, well, a couple more Stalkers. Fine, that's a fantastic choke here. But the Lings are going to be able to find their way through. Disruptor shot on top of how many roaches? Actually, really not all that many. Lings are getting a fantastic surround here. herO feels like he's overstepped. Well, yeah, no, he's absolutely overstepped. The Immortals are starting to fall down here. A big Disruptor shot. Maybe that's going to have to do something. And it's not going to get much of anything here. So herO continues to micro backwards, keeps his Immortals alive. The Disruptors continue to fall. In fact, everything on the map is falling right now. herO is forced back with extreme prejudice. And I don't know how much I liked about that push. I mean, I get the idea is, you know, you force the army into a fight as the Disruptors arrive, but now Lings find their way into the natural. Roaches find the third, and there is not a lot to defend this. herO is below 100 supply. Probes are going to have to get pulled to, well, to make sure not too many of them go down. I don't know how herO holds on to the third base here. Maybe a big Disruptor shot. I mean, it gets 2 roaches. It dies for its trouble. That's just not worth doing. Immortal in the main base is going to go down. Solar is just absolutely swarming here. He's got 9 workers. Shield battery overcharges, keeping things alive for a time. Disruptor is going to be not great. It's actually only going to do friendly fire on the assimilator. And herO feels dead in this game. He's going to have to pull some sort of a miracle comeback. And yeah, he is in fact dead. Solar goes up 2-1 in the series. In the upper right, in the red, he's up 2-1 in this series. It's Solar. And on the bottom left, in the blue. Not able to make his pressure happen and just kind of fell apart. herO. So Royal Blood is a fun map. If you're playing, if we're talking about a Terran player, it's often pretty good for Terran mech because you have this high ground base that kind of secures some others. You have this gold base, which technically makes it pretty good for Zerg. That's generally how that goes in ZVP. If you have a gold base, it means the Zerg can go take it and then they flood across the map, but it is so far away. And it is so hard to take that we don't really see that be a thing in the first 5-6 minutes, which is where the imba starts to really happen. What does herO try in this game? Game 1, Charge Lot Oracle, did not work. Game 3, Blink DTs. I mean, it was fun, but it doesn't work. Game 2, he played something more standard and he won with it. I'm not gonna say that, you know, well, maybe try what works here, herO. But we have to remember that herO is, by and large, the Protoss player that drives the meta forward, particularly in this matchup. So, especially in a tournament like this, where yes, the prize pool is, I don't actually know what the prize pool for KSL ended up being, but between Matcherino and the $400 base, it's ended up generally between $400 and $600. Even for a tournament of this size, this is going to be something where herO is going to be trying to mess around, start to experiment with things, figure out what works, what doesn't, whether he can find some interesting new way to play the game, because I mean, this is herO and he's a mad scientist. Oh, and by the way, if you do like the KSL, you should go and contribute to their Patreon, because they're taking the money that they're not using to fund the tournament, the $400 plus Matcherino. They're taking all of that, or not all of it, but a good amount of it, and they're turning it into like a $3,000 to $5,000, maybe even more so, a big tournament towards the latter part of the summer. So we're all very excited about that. Which means that you should go contribute to their Patreon, because the more money that goes in their Patreon, the bigger that tournament becomes. But there is, when I talk about herO being an adventurous player, he has, by the way, at least opted for something that is approximating at least his standard opener, right? You open oracles, you get a third base fairly quickly. Oh, he's gonna get a creep tumor in the main. He's gonna take. This was not worth it, herO. I like the idea, but that is a red oracle without getting any workers. And let's be real, you don't want to take hull damage on your oracle until the second one arrives, and then you can go and, well, actually, one-shot workers. And then you actually want to use oracles as an HP buffer, so you can maximize damage. But not before that happens. Well, doesn't feel like these oracles from herO are going to be able to get that much damage done. So the oracle dives into the main base once again, but this one is on the yellow, the other one's on red, just trying to find their way behind the mineral line, which is, by the way, this is a great spot for the oracles. They can dive in, drop a stasis trap, dive out. It's very annoying if you're the Zerg player, but in the process of getting there, these oracles have all taken so much damage that it doesn't really do all that well. But that's going to be a nice stasis. It's actually not going to get much of anything. One drone, and that one also goes in the red. So herO is just, these oracles are going to struggle to find value for the rest of the game, or they're going to struggle to get worker damage for the rest of the game. At least this leading one is only in the orange, it's not in the red, so a couple workers are going to go down. And herO is still very good at his micro, but I mean, look, he had 5. If he had just run behind the mineral line, waited for 2, that would have been 10 dead workers. He just had to dodge out that much quicker. The Lings, on the flip side, they're going to run around. They're going to get 2 adepts for their troubles, and maybe a little bit more. Maybe the Stalker, maybe the adept. Yeah, it looks like they will be. And that means that there's 1 Stalker in the third base. This actually, I think that might well go down as well. Oracles are recalled back on home, and, well, it's a full scout. There are 4 oracles on the map. Solar is well aware of this. He loses 3 adepts. He loses a Stalker. Maybe he loses another Stalker. Actually, we can tell. Only 1. It's a good scout for Solar. He forces all the oracles back home, and it's just, again, a great situation for Solar as he gets ready for a bit of a German taxi. We have 1, actually, well, we're going to talk about that in a second, but for now, Lings in the third base are getting another Stalker here, but they're going to be forced to run away. There is too much defense at this point, but where's this Dropper Lord? Yeah, there we go. 4 queens in the Dropper Lord. Very little anti-air. There are 4 Stalkers, literally 4 Stalkers on the map. That is it. 4 oracles as well, sure, but you have 4 queens, you can deal with that, especially with how low these oracles are, again, because of how much damage they took earlier, and they're on the other side of the map anyways. In fact, some of these oracles, they're taking all their shields are done as well. So this pressure, this all in, excuse me, coming in from Solar right now, he cut probes or drones a long time ago, is absolutely, I don't know how herO holds. He's had miracle holds before, but he's gonna have to have another one. Queens drops right on top. Shield battery overcharge is just dead, and now the Queens, they're transfusing for their lives. 2 oracles are gonna go down, and realistically, once the oracles are done and dusted, the Queens don't even matter. They're just a little bit more extra DPS. So Lings on top of the third base, 18, 19 probes have fallen. 1 oracle, really all that remains, and it's about to run out of energy soon enough here. Solar identified the problem with herO's build. There's a recall. The Stalkers are gonna die anyways. Third base is dead. Solar did such a good job identifying the issues with herO's build, and it is just punishing it in the extreme. That oracle should go down, but the Queens were walking, so that's not gonna happen. Third base is dead. Solar continues to rally over more and more and more. He's up triple the army supply almost at this point. And, well, the Biles are going to be able to knock this wall down. Or actually, they're just going to knock the Cyber Core down. There's no point in running through a choke when you can just remove the choke. And, yeah, Stasis, maybe that's going to do something. But Biles going to kill it. So not even that. Oracle cannot even find the smidgen of value that might make it useful in this game. And, well, Biles are going to drop down on top of whatever's morphing. Actually, is going to kill the Immortal. And I don't know how herO holds this. He went for Oracle. He took too mumuch damage on them. He did not have a scout on what was happening until the last second. And actually, Solar's going home with the queen. He's like, I've got enough damage done. I've killed everything I need to. I've killed the third. So the final Oracle that is very low is going to try to find some level of makeup damage for this, but I don't know what herO is supposed to do. He's getting charged, he's getting immortals. I think he's just going to go all in off this, but by the time he's there, Baneley's... Yeah, we're not going to have Baneling speed, but the Baneliness is going to be done. Solar's going to have plentiful Banes. The charge lots are going to run into them, and, well, obviously you can micro your charge lots, and maybe that's going to be okay, but it's rough. And herO doesn't even have detection. He has a good way about getting rid of all this creep. He's going to try to take his third on the bottom right side, but, well, Lings are going to find that one immediately. Sentries drop some force fields, but, okay, Solar's just going to kill the base. That's the more valuable target anyways at this point. Make sure herO has no opportunity to get into this game. And the longer herO dilly-dallies, the closer it's to +1, closer it is to Baneling speed. The closer it is to the next level of tech that Solar wants, closer it is to Solar maxing out. And finally, the creep is getting dealt with. Okay. You know, that's something. But it does feel like herO has to go. It's not like there are disruptors on the map. Like, there's a Templar Archive, and herO's just trying to get up to, like, 10 Archons so he can make something happen. It's not like there are Colossus on the way, Storms, some magic juju. herO's just on gateway units. 2 Oracles that have not really gotten the value that they need. He's killed 12 drones at this point, but let's be real, it's not enough. So yes, herO is now active on the map. Stalker's blink forward. Charge is done as well. Here's the Lings. They filter on forward. +1 melee is done. The force fields are actually pretty good, but the Banelings, they get pretty nice connections. And the second set of force fields are purely to retreat. They're not to section off part of the army and allow it more possible for herO to fight. And now we have queens in the 4 queens from the Dropper Lord from earlier are still going to be dropped down to make sure these oracles are just absolutely useless. Biles on the sentries, Banelings on the sentries are going to knock down the rest of them, and there's just no world. Queens on the backside, they're doing what they can. Baneling speed is now done. The Stalkers will continue to fall. Oracles, they're dead. In fact, herO's dead in this game. He's dead in this series. Solar looks primed to be the first non-Terran champion, the non-Mario champion of the Korean Starcraft League, as he wins number 3 by a score of 3-1. And folks, if you like this, you got to the end of the video, well, you should drop a sub. You should subscribe to this channel because I upload videos 6 days a week and sometimes Stormgate content on Sundays. And if you like what I do live, twitch.tv/BaleMolf. Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, and even more than that once WTL starts. See you there.